we're going to be talking about the character usage stats in the 3 main regions of the world for Smash: North America, Japan, and Europe. And this is coming from a thread by Easy Freezy. There's some other interesting things in this thread, like total character usage for Ultimate Melee, some sort of like competitive map, but I thought this was particularly cool. So, starting off, let's look at the obvious thing: Steve. Steve is in the top 10 usage of each region. However, he is only the most used character in America at almost 5% of players use him in tournaments. In comparison, in Japan, he is at 3.5% approximately, and in Europe, he is actually more common at over 5%. It's just he is overshadowed in Europe by Samus, who is at 5.5% usage. That is insane. And like, when you think about it, there's a lot of good European Samuses, right? You know, the Siski, and there's Quick, and I'm sure there's other ones, but I'm a filthy American, so I don't know them. So I thought this was really crazy, where I'm like, Samus is more used. Thought that was fascinating, especially when you look at how Samus isn't even in the top 10 of the other 2 regions. And then Japan, kind of the same thing for Diddy Kong, where it's like, surprised he's more used than Steve. I'm guessing it's like 3rd, 4th, 5th percentiles to get cut off here. He's not in the top 10 usage of North America or Europe, right? So very, very different like metas right there. Rob is used in all 3 countries. Once again, as an American, I'm not surprised he's the most used like in America. He's obnoxious. I feel like I go to locals and everyone plays Rob. I know it's not objectively true, but it feels like that. But he's still in the top 10 of all 3 countries. Japan, 3% of players, number 6. Europe, almost 4%, number 5. So like, and the character everyone knows is good. So we got Pyra/Mythra, what a surprise. Easy to pick up, top tier character, amazing secondary, polarizing matchup spread. Different spots in all the lists, but still, especially considering she's a DLC character, right? So like, that means people are less inclined to play her, you know, she comes like 3 years after the game release, people have their mains. But no, despite not being the best character in the game, just everyone likes playing her. Look at the other common characters. Roy, America and Europe, I'm not surprised. Japan has like been a much more defensive focused meta compared to North America and Europe historically. And Roy is like the I'm gonna hold forward and press some buttons character. Like, everyone has played Roy and just mashing on, yo, this is great. I'm having an awesome time. So yeah. And like, once again, there's good Roys in America, good Roys in Europe. And Japan, like, the best Roy I think is Alice, who's always been like solid, but not like top level Roy. Another character that's in 2 regions but not 3 is Snake. And you know, this doesn't surprise me. There's a lot of good Snakes in America. You got Palakage, you have Kronos. In Japan, you have Dio, you have Shogun, you have Hurt. So, very represented. And then Europe, it's funny. Because I'm not surprised he's not common, because I always feel like European players are good for Snake. And I don't really know why. But, like, I watch European players fight Snake and they kind of destroy him. And they're a lot better in the matchup than American and Japanese players tend to be, in my opinion. So, I wonder if that's like a result of Snake players going, I can't beat these top European players with this character. Or maybe it's just the Snake players aren't good enough there. I don't know. But yeah, almost 4% usage in America, 3% in Japan. So, like, pretty different in that regard. Still cool. And then we got Palutena represented in America and Europe, which I'm not surprised about, right? Like, there's a lot of good European Palutenas. Raffalo is the main one, of course. And then America, we've always had good Palutenas. Like, I feel like America, and I'm partially blamed for this, the game came out, everyone's like, yo, Palutena is a really good, guys, player. She's really good and really easily. And then everyone started playing her. It's like, yeah, so she's always been very popular in America and Europe. Whereas in Japan, you know, there's Jagamo. But there's never really been like a top Japanese Palutena. I think they've actually considered her not as strong as America for like the entirety of Ultimate. And, you know, I'm not sure if this is a chicken or the egg situation, but I just thought that's really fascinating because Palutena is top 3, well, 3rd actually in the other 2 regions. We got Wolf in Europe and America. Once again, I'm not super surprised considering both metas have like a bit like more flashy, aggressive styles. Although Wolf has kind of evolved into a very defensive, laser camp, like don't hit me character in my opinion. Maybe I play against Jackal too much, but like people love how flashy is hit like that side B, right? And like those fair bears. So I'm not super surprised. Also because he's such an easy character to pick up. Obviously very good. Hasn't really had any significant nerfs throughout all of Ultimate, like some down smash nerfs, a laser nerf, but nothing particularly bad. as just kind of a reliable character, even if he's falling off a little bit. And then afterwards, another character in 2 spots, Joker. And this time it's America and Japan, actually, with him not being in top 10 of Europe. And, you know, I see a lot of Jokers in Japan. I feel like in America, I see a lot of Jokers that go 0-2 their local. I feel like the American Joker meta is like, American Joker meta is like kind of behind. There's like a Omega, I think his name is, from Georgia, that's really good with Joker. And obviously Leo, and like that's kind of it. Where in Japan, you had Zachary's Joker for a while. I think it's like Subo Tsudo or something. There's like a Japanese Joker. I know there's like 1 or 2 more good Japanese Jokers I can't think of right now. But I've always told people I think Joker is a more defensive character than people realize. Like you just kind of run away, gun camp, like charge your Arsene, play super safe. And you're super hard to hit, so you'll kind of win a slower, drawn-out games with him, which favors Japanese playstyles generally. And what I wanted to put attention to is the fact that in America, of the top 10 characters played, 8 of them are in the top 10 of another country. So, does America set the trends? Does it follow the trends? Who knows? And now, the characters that stand out here are Mario and Bayonetta, which are not in the top 10 of Japanese or European metas. And I am not surprised that Mario is not super common in Japan. Once again, defensive, slower playstyles really hurts Mario. I feel like Mario is one of those characters where it's like, we just had a lot of good Marios in America, like in Smash 4 and in Ult. You know, we have Kurama right now, Dark Wizzy. It's like we've always just had better Marios, which I guess, you know, people see someone do well, they say, I want to do well, I want to play that character. So, yeah, and he's also, you know, easy character, very, like, and also fun combos, like hitting those up air strings and up B and killing someone at absurd percents, that's satisfying. Hitting those, like nair or, like, up air into forward air spikes, that's always fun. Bayonetta is, once again, not a surprise. In Smash 4 especially, like, Bayonetta was broken, right? Everyone knew this. However, all the best Bayonettas were in America. All of them. Like, you had, like, 5 top Bayos in America, and then, like, the best Japanese Bayo was, like, Abadango, who was, like, a duo main with, like, Bayo and Mewtwo, and eventually became a solo Bayo main. But, like, his Bayo was not on the level of, like, the top American ones. And it ultimately, that kind of transfer, like, a lot of the Bayos in Smash 4 kept playing her despite her nerfs, you know, and kept relabbing and pushing her. So you had this already, like, you had this Bayo player base from Smash 4 that carried over into Ultimate, didn't give up on the character, and she was really popular in America, by the way. Like, in Smash 4, bro, I always tell the story of a Momocon, I think it was, where there was a pool, 6-person round-robin pool. I fought 5 Bayos. No, I literally had to play against 5, it was like 4 or 5 different Bayos in a pool. Yeah, especially since the character is, like, really good. It took a while for people to learn her. She got buffed, obviously, a lot during Ultimate. But now she is extremely good, and people are realizing it, right? So more people are playing her again. I was not expecting her to see in top 10 of North America. Granted, it's only at above, like, it's like 2.3%. So it's not, it's like she's less than half as common as Steve, for example. But still, very, very interesting. And I think what's also interesting is that when you look at the drop-offs, there's, like, Steve play rate gap, then there's, like, Rob, Halu, then there's, like, another small gap, then you have, like, Snake, Roy, Mario, gap, Pyro, Wolf, Joker, and the gap, Bayo, right? It's like, it's not a super linear curve. It feels like there's little groups there. But anyway, and now, let's look at Japan. So, I want to put attention to the fact that I was surprised, by the way, that Cloud is not top 10 in America, because I feel like I see him everywhere. He's another easy to play character, really strong, and everyone thinks he's cool, because, oh my god, Limit Cross Slash is so cool, wow, he killed you at 70 in the corner, oh my god. Anyway, yeah, Cloud, very common in Japan, very common in Europe. I wouldn't be surprised if he was like 11 or 12 in America, so it's not listed here. But yeah, so top 10 there, and it makes sense. Especially, like, people in Japan really play Pocket Cloud. Like, I don't see many Cloud mains, but I've seen so many Pocket Clouds in Japan. So many people cover, like, their bad matchup versus random mid-tier zoner with Cloud. Cloud shits on them. And then I don't really know much about Europe. I would imagine it's something similar, but I haven't really seen many European Clouds, to be honest. That leaves the characters in Japan who aren't on any other list. and that is Olimar, Min Min, and Joker, actually. So, almost half of Japan's top 10 characters, Diddy, Olimar, Min Min, did I say Joker? I say Fox. Fox are only top 10 play in Japan. Character play rates is more balanced in Japan than the other countries, because like the peak in Japan is like 3.6%, and the bottom is like 2.3. And then America, it's like the peak is 4.8, the bottom is 2.3. In Europe, the peak is 5.5, the bottom is 2.5, right? So it tells me there's a bit more character variety overall in Japan, I think. And Japan definitely has developed their own meta, I'd say. Like, obviously, a large part of that shoots on doing super well with the character, being big content creator there. But like, dude, every time I see like a top like Japanese bracket, there's like 8 Olimars. 8 Olimars in that top 128. And then they all die before top 64. It's actually really funny how common it is, like they all get stopped at a certain point in bracket. It's because Olimar's a bad character. But anyway, moving on. Min Min is the plague in Japan. She like since her inception, I remember when Min Min came out and there was during quarantine, people were just downvote every single video with Min Min. Oh, Min Min in this video, in this match? Downvote, downvote, downvote. Do not watch. Yell at this person. Call them trash. Get them to quit the game. Like, people in Japan hated Min Min. And it's because she was so good, came out during quarantine, fits the Japanese playstyle perfectly. And there's just like, and there's been so many successful Min Mins in Japan. Proto Bonham, Duramigi, Omuwatsu. There's a billion others I can think of if I try to right now. So I am not surprised. She is seen as an extremely powerful, annoying character there. And then Fox being in the top 10 surprises me. I guess because like Fox players in Japan play him really hit and run. Like they kind of play him like how I think Joker should be played, where they kind of just run away and wait for their openings and don't engage otherwise. You know, once again, American European playstyle is more aggressive, which means you're taking more risks if you're being more aggressive. And Fox, I think, is a character that's at its worst when they're taking risks because they're so fragile. So I'm like surprised to see Fox here, but I guess there's a logic in the super campy Fox is very strong, and I can see why that is. And of course he's Fox. He's a cool character, right? Like he is like Smash at its core. And then looking at Europe by itself, so Europe also only has, let's see, 1, 2, 3 characters not in another region's top 10. With Wario, which no surprise here. Gluto has been been a top player in Europe for like 2,000 years, ever since Brawl. And he's played Wario the entire time. So it makes sense that when he's top player, constantly dominating the country, getting amazing results, people are going to pick up Wario because of him. So him being so common, not surprising in the absolute slightest. Like more than any other rep of a character, pushing the character, I feel like Gluto pushes Wario so far, and it feels like almost by himself a lot of times. But with that, like, just longevity of playing the character at such a high level, yeah, that makes sense. And then Greninja, even in Smash 4, is very European-centric. And I'm not entirely sure why that was in Smash 4, because Greninja wasn't really that good in Smash 4. People just like playing him. I remember there was Studying put in work with the character. And obviously there's Tarek now. But actually, even the Ultimate, I don't feel like he's a particularly great character. He's just good. So I'm honestly really surprised to see him in the top 10 in Europe in terms of play rates. I don't know, maybe there's some Europeans in the video that can explain it a bit more to me, because I don't quite get it. And then we talked about Samus. So, really my takeaways is I feel like North America, well, first of all, the entire world has a relatively similar meta, right? So Steve, Rob, Pyra, Mithra. So 3 characters in each of these? Yeah, 3 characters in each of these. And then, like, more than half of these top 10 lists are the same. So, it shows that, like, you know, even though Ultimate's a worldwide game with different, like, metas in different regions to a certain extent, they're still pretty similar. And honestly, it's interesting. I expected to see these lists being more different than they are. But I guess since we're entering late, we have entered late game Ultimate. People know how to play the game. People figure things out. Like, I don't think anything is going to happen that makes Steve not the best character in the game. I don't think anything is going to happen that's going to push up, like, Ganondorf from the worst character in the game or something, or make people play me Sword Fighter, right? Like, the game's pretty set in stone at this point. And I guess you can really see it in how similar all these metas are overall. Yeah, I thought this was really cool. I just wanted to nerd out a little bit. Hope you guys thought this was cool as well. And, like the video, comment your thoughts, and I'll catch you later.